everyone, my name is Sara Dietschy, runs with Dietschy. I am sitting in my 2021 Model Y. So we're talking about Tesla today. Shout out to Amaze for sponsoring this video. If you want to enter for a chance to win a new Tesla Model S Plaid, yeah, the one that really goes vroom vroom, and also support an amazing cause, you can go to amaze.com/Dietschy to check it out. We'll hit that later, but let's talk Tesla and maybe Texas. They've been in the news together for a while. So apparently Tesla is moving their headquarters to Austin, Texas. Previously their HQ was in California. They're not shutting down any factories. They're actually expanding their operations in California. So we will see what that means to move your HQ. Maybe that just means boss man lives in Austin, so it's the HQ. Also, Tesla insurance is rolling out in Texas. I think by the time this video is gonna go up, I'm not sure. You know, I have like a normal progressive insurance plan. Tesla is unique because they're actually going to use similar technology with the safety score everyone's talking about with full self-driving, where they can adjust your rate if you are a safe driver. It makes sense, right? It's a little creepy. The fact that, you know, they're watching every move with all the cameras and sensors, you could pay less in insurance, and it's a very surefire way to know that your driving correlates with your feet, right? But at the same time, yeah, I might drive like a grandma. And also Tesla has been in the news for their full self-driving beta rollout, which I find endlessly fascinating. I'm excited to chat about that. I did not purchase FSD because here's a lesson right at the top of the video. Do not buy tech based on promises. Say it with me. Do not buy tech based on promises. I think Elon is a G. He's awesome. I think he's going to help us save the world. But he doesn't understand timelines. He is overly optimistic. Don't trust him at the same time. So yeah, that's kind of my Model Y review, part 2, driving around in Texas. There are some things that are a little bit different, so let's just hop into it. Number one, the AC. Tesla does this thing where they do a lot of things really great, but they also try to reinvent the wheel. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think vents are a brilliant invention. However, they don't look good. And I really think that's why Tesla came up with the vents being in this very small crevice. Is that the right word, I would say? Listen, it gets hot in Texas, and I just came off of the summer. The air literally, okay. The air has to be cranked up all the way to 10 to really feel like you can be cooled off in a few minutes. John, he has a 4Runner, and you turn his air to literally 2, and it's so cold within 20 seconds. Now, I think that is something maybe unique to electric cars. Maybe they're saving more energy when it comes to the AC. But even if that was the case, I really feel like having vents would be helpful because guess what? The air for me is going through a wheel, X's. And then also it hits the screen, and so I feel like I just get this like sliver of air that comes right through here. So the passenger has a lovely AC experience. If you can just see, it comes straight at you, and it's very fun to adjust, right? But I will say, if you're a Model S or the new Model X Tesla owner, I'm so jealous of you because they now have vented seats. I would love a vented seats option on Model Y. Elon, please. Okay, next thing. Teslas have actually gotten pretty popular in Texas. I remember there was one person in our neighborhood growing up that had that random car with a T on it. We're like, oh, what is that? But they're kind of everywhere now. So I will say kids love them. I'll be picking up food and an 8-year-old will just stop in his track and freak out. It's like, kids are the future, man. But they're definitely more popular. But I will say the biggest thing with the charging network with Tesla is they're everywhere, no matter where you go. That's such a big benefit of going with Tesla over other electric cars, but it is not a problem. I see Instagram stories of my California friends literally waiting in line for hours to charge their Tesla in California superchargers, which is just at that point, it's like, dang, if you don't have the ability to have a charger in your garage, if you can't have a garage or a parking garage in an apartment, it might still be really tough to get a Tesla. But I will say here in Texas, so many spots. Literally so many spots, to the point where other cars just park in Tesla chargers, which will be a problem. I don't know how they would enforce that, but it's absolutely no problem. I thought not having a charger in my parking garage was going to be a problem, but it turns out I don't drive that much. There will be times where I stay in my apartment for 3 days in a row and don't see the sun. Now that's a personal problem, okay? But I think the people who drive less, who maybe have leases, it really isn't that much trouble. It takes about 30 minutes to get a good charge and you're off to the races. I probably go to my local charging station maybe once a week. It's chill. And for me, it actually works out that I charge at the superchargers because it's of no cost of me. People have used my affiliate link to buy a Tesla through my link, and I think I've sold over like 50 Teslas through that. So I have like 50,000 supercharging free miles. So I just like never have to pay for supercharging. But if you weren't a YouTuber and don't have that luxury, supercharging would maybe cost like $7 every time you go. So it's much cheaper than what people are experiencing right now with the crazy gas prices. That's a situation right now. Let's talk about Autopilot. Autopilot and full self-driving, two different things. Autopilot comes on every single Tesla. Basically what that does is it has two factors. It has automatic cruise control, which if you have it set at 75, you're going 70, someone speeds up in front of you, it'll keep that distance from the car and it'll speed up to 75, or it'll slow down when it needs to. What's cool about the Tesla Autopilot is it has the additional feature where it'll keep you in your lane and it'll essentially drive for you in that lane. You just have to either keep a hand on the wheel so it knows, hey, pay attention, or every time that it asks like, hey, are you paying attention, you just hit like the volume button and it'll say, good job, you're there. Now that I've driven with it more here in Texas, I will say it's pretty handy. I take a lot of toll roads, so it is going straight for a long period of time. Probably the best case scenario is when I go directly from Fort Worth to Dallas or vice versa. It is one highway the full time, and I can probably stay in autopilot without disengaging it for like 20 minutes straight. Very cool. Where FSD comes in handy is it can auto lane change or automatically lane change for you. So if I want to change lanes when I'm on the highway, say someone needs to get past me, I have to disengage autopilot and change that lane for myself. I feel like in Texas, I still don't find a need for it. It would just be a nice to have. A cool nice to have for $200 per month. I don't know, because they now introduced a subscription where you can pay $200 a month for that instead of the one sum fee of $10,000 when you purchase your Tesla. Now, with that purchase, Tesla has been promising the full self-driving, like the actual full self-driving for a while, where you can go from point A to point B without having to touch the wheel. It'll do stop signs, it'll do street lights, it'll do neighborhood roads. Now, that's not something that comes automatically when you buy a Tesla. I feel like there's a lot of confusion with that. So I have to say, I feel like I have no regrets, especially since I bought it. They introduced it as a subscription, so I could just try it out if I want and then cancel it. I think that's something that I'll probably like maybe do one day, but that just seems like too much money. Also, there's one more feature called Summon, where your car will come to you in a Target parking lot, but I find that freaks out people, and people, I've seen videos of them like running to the car, freaking out, like, oh my God, gotta get the car, it's like rolling on itself. So I don't need that kind of drama in my life. Okay, so we're gonna get driving, and I actually wanna show you some of these Texas roads and how Autopilot handles them. Before we get driving, thank you so much to Omaze for sponsoring this video. Okay. Officially in Autopilot, smooth sailing ahead. So Omaze gives away amazing one-of-a-kind prizes and experiences while also donating to amazing charities all across the world. And I want to tell you about one specific charity, Reverb. And by supporting Reverb, you can potentially win a Tesla Model S Plaid, the really, really fast one. Reverb is on a mission to make a positive impact on the environment. So far, they've eliminated over 3 million single-use plastic water bottles from your favorite concerts, and at the same time, they partner with local farmers and also nonprofits. Okay, so now it's time to talk about this Tesla Model S. Well, to start, it's the fastest and most advanced production car ever made. It has a 400-mile range with a 1,020 horsepower electric engine that can go 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. It's basically a spaceship. That severely beats my Model Y, which reaches 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds, which still feels insanely fast to me. It has a beautiful pearl white exterior. The interior is black with wood trim. There's a 17-inch cinematic display, the new yoke, of course, the steering wheel, 21-inch wheels, panoramic glass roof, in-car gaming from any seat, a great speaker system, and a HEPA air filtration system. Taxes and shipping are included for US winners. So if that Tesla Model S seems sick to you and you also want to donate to an amazing cause. You can go to amaze.com/Dietschy and donate $10 for your chance to win. Okay, so you've already seen a good deal of autopiloting, right? So these are one of the things that I was scared in the beginning is when there's merging lanes. So like this, it'll basically cut the difference between the two lanes. So it'll kind of bring you to the right side quickly, but then it'll ease it on back. That was kind of weird in the beginning, but now I just trust it and it's never failed me. Okay, so we have an exit coming up here. When I first got the car, I would immediately go out of autopilot now, but as you can see, it stays to the left when it wasn't the most obvious. So I feel like those are the two things that always happen when you're in the toll road in Texas is you have merging lanes all the time, people coming in, and also a ton of exits, you know, exiting right. And your instinct is gonna be like, can it do it? Can autopilot do it? But it does it, because I stay in the right-hand lane, because, you know, obviously left is for passing. There's only 2 lanes, and I don't want to get ran over by the Texans driving at 100 miles per hour, because they do that. Autopilot has been really great. You know, you still have to make sure to pay attention to the road, be at the ready to grab the wheel. Small things that I thought in the beginning, like you press the brakes to disengage autopilot, when really you press up to get out of autopilot. You go down twice to get back into autopilot. I was just pressing the brakes to get out of autopilot, so I'm much more comfortable. Okay, so as an avid consumer of just like Tesla news and the drama, let's talk a little bit more about the full self-drive beta, because it's just fun. Okay, listen, I am so into this full self-driving drama. A lot of people are upset about how slow this full self-driving beta is rolling out. So again, when I say that, that means auto steer in the city. So you can go from point A to point B no matter what happens, go on and off highways, stop at stop signs, roll through neighborhoods safely, right? That is only rolling out, like literally it started with only hundreds of people and now it's in the thousands, but it started with people with a perfect safety score. So what that means is if you have purchased that full self-driving beta, say you purchased it for $10,000, you know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or I think like 4 years ago was $8,000, and you finally have the moment to download this, right? But then imagine them saying, no, well, you need a perfect safety score. Chaos ensues. So this was only about 1,000 people that had a perfect score, which was 100. And these 5 safety factors that make up your safety score is forward collision warnings per 1,000 miles. So I get this every now and then. If I get too close to someone and I'm going at a certain speed, it'll beep at me, beep, 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 beep. But what's interesting about this is I'll get them when, you know, someone's turning right, maybe on a freeway, and I'm slowing down and I have plenty of room, but it'll still beep at me. So sometimes I get those beeps when it's cool, it's fine, I see that person turning. So I can only imagine someone driving super safe, that happening when it's really not the case. And then dock, your scores dock down to the list for full self-driving. Hard braking, number 2. Number 3, aggressive turning, unsafe following, so if you're like tailgating someone, and then a forced autopilot disengagement. What that means is if it doesn't detect your hand on the wheel, or you don't say, hey, I'm here, by pressing up on the volume, it'll automatically disengage from autopilot and you have to take over. So when you get the full self-driving beta button, you download it, then you start your safety score, and then they will evaluate if they're actually going to roll it out to you. So they start with 100, and they'll go to the people with the score of 99, 98, 97, go, you know, down the list. And what's interesting is Elon says that the score, you know, algorithm isn't perfect, but they're working on it. I can understand people's frustration when it has to come to big chunks of metal on the road. It kind of seems like, wow, you're using people as guinea pigs, right? For auto steering, and, you know, a human isn't in control. The only thing I will say about that is, you know, I think people take this full self-driving like very seriously. The videos, when you go down an FSD YouTube, like it's a rabbit hole if you want to go down with it. They're very safe. You always have to be super engaged. You have to be holding the wheel. Your eyes have to be on the road. And for that reason, that's why they're taking the steps of rolling it out based on this safety score, which you can kind of start thinking about, oh, Tesla insurance, you know, these are probably going to be some of the factors that incorporate when you get insurance from Tesla, which again, I pose this question. This is an interesting world that we are going to be living in. Do you want to live in a world with robo-taxis and cars driving themselves and, you know, insurance based on your actual driving? The man is watching. Okay, a little update. Tesla insurance has officially rolled out in Texas, yay! Previous to Texas, they had only offered in California, and Elon mentioned this in a shareholders meeting that insurance is state by state. It's very complicated, all the things that you have to like clear with the powers that be. So who knows what states are next. So they say that this insurance should be between 20 to 60% cheaper than any of the competition. For some context, this is a 2021 Model Y. I'm paying $200 a month through Progressive. And you might be, oh, that's pretty expensive. Well, it's like, it's a new car. So if I did total it, it would take a bit of money to replace it, right? But I'm not being spied on. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, they don't know if I have to do a hard stop because I wasn't paying attention and there was someone in front of me. So this is officially rolling out. I actually kind of want to try it, although my insurance is good for like another 9 months, so I don't want to just cancel that. I will say also, I was telling my parents about this, and Tesla isn't the only one who's doing something like this, which I was really shocked about. So apparently, this is hilarious that I'm talking about insurance on a tech channel, but it's getting techy. Okay, guys, hang in there with me. Apparently, Travel's insurance does something like this, but instead of it, you know, being the car that's relaying the information back to the insurer, it's an app. So my parents recently just went with Travelers insurance, and they're only paying $130 per month for 2 drivers. They don't have like super expensive cars, so that can play in the price as well. But basically, he got a discount for downloading an app called IntelliDrive, Travelers IntelliDrive. And this app is basically on my mom's and my dad's phone. And for 3 months, they're being not recorded, but they're being like tracked by this app. And you know, if they go over 80 miles per hour, that's a problem. If they come to a hard stop, that's a problem. If they're distracted, that's a problem. So if the app says, hey, you're going 70 miles per hour and your phone's open and you're on Twitter, I don't know how deep they can go into that, but that would be considered a distraction. And basically they get a score at the end of their 3 months, and that determines their price of their insurance. They can get it discounted up to 30%. So this is not something that they are continuing. They don't get tracked their entire insurance period, but this is just something like a sign-on bonus. You get an initial discount if you download this app, and then you will get further discounts on your next 6 months of insurance if you do this for only 3 months. So I thought that was really interesting. I had no idea that other companies were doing things like this. So hard braking, acceleration, high speed, time of day, distraction, that's all of the IntelliDrive specifics that they look at, which sounds familiar to that safety score from Tesla. So I don't know how I feel about this. I would not want that. Just being honest, that just seems like too much pressure. But you know, if you can save a significant amount of money, like 60%, that is pretty crazy. I think this is a middle ground in between, hey, we're getting smart features on our cars are driving themselves sometimes, between that and then also full autonomy, when all cars are just robots on the street, no one's getting into wrecks because everything is fully autonomous. But that's not, I would say that's like 20, 30 years into the future. So this middle ground will be interesting. Maybe insurance will get less, and that's also a bigger question to ponder. Insurance companies are going to have to pivot, because if we're all on the road in freaking robots that never crash, well, what's the point of insurance? Well, there's other things to insure. So anyways, the last Tesla stockholder meeting was actually pretty interesting. It's where they made the announcement they were moving the HQ to Austin. But also, Elon just casually mentioned that they're open to licensing this autonomy, this autopilot, full self-driving to other car companies, because he believes, you know, the positivity outweighs anything else, which really, like, they'd make a lot of money on that. And if everyone had the same autopilot system, you know, I'm sure those algorithms would work in sync and there would never be a wreck ever again, and we'd all live in a utopia. But if you think about it, that is a technology that car companies are probably going to want to build themselves. It would not be a good look for shareholders of, you know, GM or these other car companies to be like, yeah, we're not doing it in-house, we're just subscribing it from Tesla, right? It's not the best look. So I use Autopilot a lot, and since my first video, I've actually had a crazy experience where there was a huge bumper in the middle of the road, and it was super dark, and basically the emergency vehicle was on the left shoulder. So usually when you see that in Texas, that has to do with a car that's pulled over in the shoulder, they're changing a tire, and that emergency vehicle is there to say, hey, hey, move over from the left-hand lane. So I was in the middle lane, I thought it was fine, and I was in autopilot, and there was a huge bumper just in the middle of my lane. It was like halfway in my lane. And because I was still in autopilot and there was actually a car to the right of me too, autopilot literally did the obstacle avoidance and just went whoop. It was the most scary thing ever because I didn't have time to react. By the time that I reacted and jerked the wheel to the right, autopilot, my car was already jerking me back to the left so I didn't run into the car to the right of me. That was like one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, autopilot did way better than an actual human, me, because my instincts were way too late. And so I think that is the point, you know, of autopilot and full self-driving. We're going to get to a point where all cars are fully autonomous, and when you have a bunch of robots interacting with each other, it's going to be so safe. It's this middle ground that might get kind of interesting. Okay, so we did a lot of talking. I hope you enjoyed that stream of consciousness review number 2 for the Model Y and just a general discussion around FSD, because it is making people really upset. But if we go back to what I said in the beginning, big fan of Tesla, big fan of Elon, but what do we not do, everyone? We do not buy future updates. That's why I will probably wait until everything is rolled out and I'll probably be 60 years old, and then I'll buy full self-driving and we'll all have our robo-taxis and it'll be fun. And the Tesla stock price will be to the moon and we'll all be happy. Maybe there'll be people living on Mars, you know, but as of right now, I'm good. Shout out one more time to Amaze. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Again, go to amaze.com/Dietschy for your chance to win a Tesla Model S Plaid, the fastest Tesla and or maybe car of all time right now. And also, you support a great cause. So make sure to check that out. Links in the description below. I'm gonna continue enjoying my Dr. Pepper and let's autopilot on the way home. We're actually very far away. We drove very far. It's 4:40.
To get Sonic.
To get Sonic, essentially. Okay. Let me know if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button down below for new videos every single week. And until next time, everyone, stay peachy. Okay, bye.